Hi, I'm back with Uthando Nes'thembu. Just like everyone, I've been eagerly waiting for season 8 to finally arrive. This show is a Mzansi Magic original. This past week, we saw episodes 1, 2, and 3 air on DSTV channel 161. And guys, it was an event, if I should say. It was something we have been waiting for. We got answers finally. We actually got to see wife number 5, something that Musa Mseleku has been singing about for the past few years. The show right now has been on Mzansi Magic for I think 8 years. It started so beautifully and now cracks are showing. I cannot wait to dive in and talk about the highlights of the show and what had happened, because everyone on YouTube is talking about this. And I decided also to be like, let me put in my 2 cents as well and add what it is I think within the discourse that is polygamy, that is Musa Mseleku as a character of the show, as a figurehead really of polygamy itself. I'm Khwela, by the way. Welcome to Bioskop and Champagne, a place where we watch movies, series, and especially trash reality television. Today, we are going to be reviewing episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Uthando Nes'thembu. Season 8 has landed on our TV screens. It is scheduled to air, as I said, twice a week. Guys, I am captivated. This man, even though I don't really like him that much, I can respect that he stands 10 toes down on what he believes in and he stays the course, and that's something to write home about. If you're not familiar with the premise of Uthando Nes'thembu, it is a South African reality show that follows the lives of Musa Mseleku, his 5 wives, and his children. We have been watching this show really for the past 8 years, and it's become a really big part of South African pop culture. Musa Mseleku is, in his own right, a celebrity. He is a celebrated figure within the polygamy space and also within the South African entertainment space. He is a businessman, first and foremost, and it is his production house, Thanks Ma Productions, that has been filming the show, but I'm thinking that he just went gung-ho and found himself a producer and a whole crew to actually film everything. And the quality, I must say, has bumped up a lot. The quality is so good. It's been a while since I've actually watched it because I never really watched the show as it aired live. I usually just watch it on catch up because I never have the time. But now, since we're going to be doing all of this, I am going to be watching with everyone. As we know, polygamy is widely practiced in Africa, and it is in the last 8 years really that Musa Mseleku has emerged as its poster child. His flagship reality show, Uthando Nes'thembu, which follows his life with his 5 wives and children, has become a mega hit. I have been bulldozed by the show and I am happy for it. The show is like TLC's Sister Wives, but better because unlike Cody, who's poor, he's poor, Musa Mseleku is able to financially care for his wives, all of his wives, and also his children. The show itself, Uthando Nes'thembu, has spawned many other shows that have captivated us as well because we do want to see a glimpse into polygamy and its dynamics. One of those shows is MANGWABE'S, which is a show where Musa Mseleku helps other men introduce potential sister wives to their current wives so that they can grow their families and be essentially a polygamist. In most cases, this would be the first step that the men are taking into polygamy. It is described as empowering for some reason, and I don't get it. We only ever see men do that, and According to culture, women aren't allowed to do such because it would be seen as a promiscuous thing to do if a woman were to take more than one husband. Another show that was spawned from Uthando Nes'thembu is MaKhwela, Happily Ever After. This is the show after the original show that follows the lives of those men as they navigate polygamy. A more recent addition to the cluster of shows is zes'thembu, that follows the lives of Musa Mseleku's oldest children as they try to carve out an identity outside of their father's celebrity. Up until maybe season 5, season 6, it was looking good, but from season 6 to now, things aren't looking so great for him and cracks are showing. My mother, myself, and a friend of mine, T, has been obsessively waiting for the show to air. My review of the show will be touching on the highlights of what happened in episodes 1, 2, and 3. The episode was filmed in May of the year of our Lord 2024. One thing I must say is that Musa Mseleku can shift blame like no other. I've never seen such efficiency when it comes to that. The constant blame shifting is a theme in all 3 episodes, which is very unmanly of him. Episode 1 is just all about Mseleku and what he's been through. You know, he's almost positioned as this martyr when in fact he put himself in this situation. He's the one who has been wanting to grow the family. He's the one who pursued his now 5 wives for the last 20 years, because he has been married to his first wife MaKhwela for the last 20 years. They did celebrate their 20th anniversary. I think it was last season, in season 7. Mseleku uses his charisma and eloquent speech that he learned from his preacher days to try and convince women specifically that there is nothing he can do to change his fate, that a 5th wife has been written in the stars and most specifically in the Bible, that he has to suffer through this just like his wives have to suffer through this, as if he is on this holy journey that God has sent him on. He's on this journey, he needs to live it. Whatever he's feeling really doesn't matter, and he needs to just stay on course, and whatever is said, whatever noise is there, is just a distraction. What interests me the most is how Mseleku came across as like sort of a preacher, someone who was giving the sermon. He seems to be someone who is very used to giving monologues that justify what it is he's doing, how he uses religious concepts and scripture. We also find out in episode 3 or something that he did own like a church. He was a preacher there. So it sort of made sense to me only closer to the end of episode 3 why it felt that way for me. He did grow up in the church and became a preacher. It seems his faith, which is Christianity, is interwoven with his African religion. As we know, Christianity and African religion has been at war with each other since the beginning. Christianity was introduced to Africa in a very coercive way. The Bible came with a gun. They came as a package deal in a way as to compel the African people to ditch African religion. This is to speak to the ancestors. The religion itself was also used as an ideological weapon by white supremacists to justify the subjugation of black and brown people. On top of that, patriarchy uses religious concepts and scriptures to keep women in their place. This is married in the home and pregnant in that order. And Mseleku pulls up all of those stories from the Bible to actually explain, expand, and attach a religious tone to what it is he's trying to teach us. And when I say us, I'm talking about women. His courage is derived from stories of old found between the pages of religious script. His wife's feelings about the addition of a fifth sister wife should pale in comparison to the word of their father upstairs, that just like his wives, Mseleku is a child that must follow the rules, and he shouldn't be crucified for doing so. In episode 1, wife number 5 is finally unmasked for the first time. Wife number 5's name is Samke Khwela, and she looks to be closer in age to Sneh. This is Mseleku's oldest daughter, who he had out of wedlock. And guys, that's not fun to see. But hypergamous relationships are nothing new. She just married above her station and he gets to enjoy her youth. Nothing new to see there, even though there is quite a lot to unpack, because like he's older, she's younger. I believe she's 25. I'll just put it up on the screen if I'm wrong. Yes, she seems like this person who's coming in and essentially being a gold digger, even though he married her. What interests me the most is that MAYENI left the homestead 3 months prior to the filming of season 8.
uMayeni masiphambana ngokombono athathe impahla zakhe ashiye ingane.
And Mseleku has literally gone on a smear campaign, painting his second wife's behavior as irrational and nonsensical.
She's too sensitive eyintweni. Noma ngabe into ayinkulu kakhulu kodwa yena uyayithatha ibe inkulu.
In Mseleku's mind, MAYENI'S decision to leave was caused by a combination of pressures from work and an operation she had as a result of those pressures. The story, according to Mseleku, is this: MAYENI'S mental state was eroded to the point that she acted in a foolish way after their argument, that is, to leave the homestead and go back to her parents' home. In Mseleku's mind, MAYENI has done the unthinkable. She has stopped abiding by the rules of Begezela culture, despite singing his Abahambayo Mabahambe song since season 7. He is essentially shaking in his boots.
Ukuhlukumezeka kwakhe kusinikeze inkinga.
I truly believe that Mseleku was hoping for an army of pygmies who consider themselves wifey material to come out of the woodworks in droves and actually shame MAYENI for doing something as foolish as choosing peace over her husband.
Nale kubo ke ngoba bakholwa ilento asuke yisho kanti thina esuke sikukhalela flow kunye ukuthi umuzi wakho awuphilelane ungafi.
In this sense, Mseleku then needs the women who uphold and support tradition and patriarchy's role in keeping women in line and policing their behavior to make MAYENI see the light and do what wives do, which is to endure even when she is ill-treated and forced to parade her pain and trauma in front of the whole nation. Mseleku wants to absolve himself of all of the pain he has caused MAYENI that began while they were boyfriend and girlfriend. He may recognize that she has resentment from those early days, but he has, according to her, not shown enough remorse to let dogs lie. And because Mseleku's ego and pride won't let him lose, he chose, against his own man code, to include women with internalized misogyny from the internet to scold her and guilt her into submitting to her husband and essentially shut up about her feelings and be docile enough so she can essentially save her marriage, to make MAYENI the scapegoat of the marriage breakdown while positioning Mseleku as the victim of circumstance. This shows how misogyny, this hate and contempt for other women that has been taught to us throughout the generations, plays a role in women keeping their fellow women under the thumb of patriarchy. When women encourage other women to go back and carry the hardships with dignity, they are essentially acting as agents of the patriarchal system that gives women a false sense of power as the neck that is connected to the head of the family, which is very unmanly of him. MAYENI'S journey to being a second wife is paved with resentment and pain. She and Mseleku dated first, but they broke it off because she didn't want a polygamist as a husband. Mseleku then moved on to date and eventually marry MaKhwela, making her the first wife, a position that originally belonged to MAYENI had she stayed and accepted his.
Mina ngazi ukuthi uMayeni uyangazi ngiyigirlfriend yakho because we had an encounter naye. Engiyena umngako.
uMayeni angithi ube girlfriend yami. Then sahlukana naye.
Marriage proposal. Now there is also some confusion around how MaKhwela came to be part of the Mseleku clan.
Then ngaqala a process yokuyolobola uMayeni. Usukhona as a girlfriend.
Okay, angiyazi ke leyo process.
According to MAYENI, MaKhwela was supposed to be wife number 2 instead of her current position as the third wife. MAYENI believes that MaKhwela, just like MaKhwela, stole her man because MaKhwela was, according to the rumors, cohabiting with Mseleku while MAYENI and Mseleku were scheduled to marry.
Mina ngiyakana nje ngikana indoda ekipitile angikwazi mina ukuya emzini ngoba indoda ikipitile njengoba seyingichazela manje.
She feels betrayed and naturally so. What makes MAYENI'S plight generational is how her oldest son, Mpumelelo, wants to follow in his father's polygamous steps and marry 3 wives, the first of which must be a virgin, even though both his current girlfriends at the time had birthed his children. This virgin matriarch Mpumelele is seeking's last name is MaKhwela, which triggers MAYENI even more at a generational level because the man she married and the man she gave birth to have essentially done the same thing. It seems MAYENI'S misfortunes are repeating themselves, but this time with her son, and I can only imagine what that feels like. And to have it paraded in front of the nation for entertainment's sake is something that makes it even worse. This instance of transgenerational trauma inflicted by Mseleku and now their son is something we see her intentionally try to stop in previous seasons.
Kahle kuzobe kusaqhubeka into eyayivele yenziwe ubaba wakhe. Kwesinye isikhathi uma umuntu ufuna wenza into uyenze right, as much as uyifuna ngendlela osuke uyifuna ngayo.
But it seems that no one, and especially Mseleku, is attempting to shield her from the same fate, from being triggered by the same events that happened in her marriage that are now going to be inflicted onto another young lady by the son that she birthed herself. Mseleku again shifts the responsibility, this time onto his son, to protect his mother when it is actually his job to do so.
How?
His job in this case would be to reprimand and make sure that his son does not repeat his mistakes and also make his son understand that what he is doing isn't advisable, because this virgin he is after has the same surname as his mother, MaKhwela. In African culture, whoever your parent, your father, is married to within the polygamous system is your mother, whether they have birthed you themselves or not. Essentially, what Mpumelelo is doing is marrying his sister.
Uma kaMpumelelo uyamzala noma ngathiwa akaphuma esiswini samacele njengoba eyothatha umuntu wakacele uyothatha usisi wakhe.
There seems to be this intergenerational tendency to overlook women's feelings in lieu of getting what one wants that has been passed on to his son. And I'm assuming all the other male children in his family. Another highlight for me was when MaNGWABE was talking about how she feared for her daughters and their children as well because of how she has seen Mseleku treat his current grandchildren. These are the kids that Sneh, his daughter, has had, and also Mpumelele, his son, has had. There is a huge discrepancy in how Mseleku treats his children and grandchildren. MaNGWABE sees it, I see it, and some of you out there also see it as well. The way Mseleku parents and also grandfathers is a red flag, and fearing for her own daughter's future treatment, MaNGWABE does bring it up to her husband during their confessionals. And again, the blame shifting song commences from Mseleku when he attributes his poor treatment of Sneh's children to a valiant attempt on his part to compel Sneh to embrace his fatherly advice and do the right thing. He essentially has to use her weakness for her own good. It can't be his fault that he is not so nice to her children compared to Mpumelelo's children. In the case of Sneh, Mseleku's girl child who has had children outside of wedlock, and Mpumelelo, Mseleku's boy child who has also had children out of wedlock, the standards both children are held to are vastly different. Sneh is shown contempt for being a baby mama, while Mpumelele is praised for spreading his seed so efficiently.
Ngiyambona ukuthi impela wenza kahle. Phela abantu ngiyabafuna. So
and treats Mpumelelo's kids, his grandkids from Mpumelelo, as his own. In this case, viewing Mpumelelo's kids as a continuation of the bloodline, while treating Sneh's children with less regard because they do not align with Mseleku's vision to grow the Mseleku name. This dichotomy between their father's treatment of each other is entirely rooted in their gender. Sneh is a woman and Mpumelelo is a man. No matter how you slice it, Mseleku prefers Mpumelelo over Sneh. There are studies surrounding the differences in how parents treat boys and girls and essentially raise their children. In a 2016 article in the Miami Herald, writer Lori Futterman writes that, quote, there are long-lasting and serious repercussions of gender-based parenting. Girls tend to carry parental disapproval into adulthood and are more self-critical than men, who often have a more relaxed attitude when it comes to making mistakes and moving past them. Boys often grow up thinking that they somehow deserve more freedom than women and that women need to be taken care of. Sneh has exhibited and verbally confirmed that she does not approve of how her father treats her and her kids. She has said that she feels that her father is not present and absent at every turn. And MANGWABE'S fears are not baseless. Mseleku just doesn't like that she is right and he is wrong. He always leans into shifting the blame and positioning himself as a victim of circumstance. If you watch all of the episodes, you will definitely realize that, and how he uses the Bible in this sense to back him up and justify this journey, this pilgrimage he has taken. The way he packages what he says makes you want to feel bad for him, as if we are living in his shoes, when in fact he is the only one who has put himself in that situation. That's my review of Uthando Nes'thembu and what I think so far. There are other highlights of the show that I have obviously skipped over, one of which is the accusation that MaKhwela is a deputy husband and that she is a pick-me. I want to actually do a separate video that actually dives deep into that and analyzes why people are saying such things about her. I am quite excited for season 8. I'm watching it with my mom, and I'm sure you as well, Tinswalo, is watching, because she just she actually told me over voice note that she cannot wait. Guys, like, this is my new Generations. For all of you guys who watch Generations on SABC1 every weekday, this is my Generations. Even though it's just twice a week, it'll work for me. I don't even watch live TV, but I have made it a point to be on my couch at a certain time so that I can watch with everyone and be flabbergasted, be shocked. We've been watching this man and his life unfold with his now 5 wives for 8 years, and he's given us really great television, really great reality television. The producers who create the show are doing an amazing job. I salute you guys. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for coming this far. If you've come this far, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to comment down below and tell me what you think of all of the episodes. Tell me what you think about MAYENI and her sort of generational trauma that she has to live through on television. Yeah guys, this is your mother Bioskop signing out. See you on the next video. Bye.